Hello everyone, this is CJNovo92 and today we're back for another brand new video. A brand new video on what is a glorious, glorious day, people. Genuinely one of the best days of the year. The normal question that comes out is, what do you prefer, wedding season or Christmas? Well, I prefer this season right here, which is of course the day before the real football actually returns. And that's despite the amount of years we've done this on the channel and had this video and discussed it, me and genuinely, we've done it that long. If you had like a flip book, I'd start off black-haired, fully ambition to where I am right now, utterly grey, looking like a B-Tech Richard Gere. But where I've aged quite drastically, my heart, my buzz, my plum still plump the exact same way for the season opener, as we're of course here to discuss. Rangers travelling all the way to the Tony Macaroni to face Livingston. And as always with these preview videos, we'll start the video off by having a look at the opposition and dive right in to the oppositional preview, as we've already mentioned. You already know, because listen, you feel the exact same way as me. You'll be buzzing out your mind. We know it's Livingston. We know it's the crispy park of the Tony Macaroni. So let's go ahead and talk about it, because it's interesting to look at Livingston so far this season, because coming into this game versus Rangers, they've actually played 4 competitive matches so far now. Obviously that's been in the Scottish Cup group stages, but still they've got some real experience of playing games that matters this season. And you might be thinking that might give them an edge or anything like that, but if you look into the games like we will do in today's video, you've seen it's not been the best start of the season for Livingston, because yes, on paper they have won 3 of their 4 matches so far this season, but again they are all against lower league opposition, and despite winning 3 of the 4, it's been nothing of a sort of chest out, celebrating, loving life and skilling and thrilling. In fact, it's been a very scrappy and sloppy start of the season, and Livingston have been in real battles so far. I think that's backed up by the fact that of 2 of the 4 matches that they've played this season, they've had red cards. One of the things that Livingston is known for is their fearsome defence, not giving too much away, but so far this season they've actually conceded 5 goals in the 4 matches they've played already this season, keeping only 1 clean sheet, which is very, very unlike Livingston, especially under theyve and Matondo. But that is what they're coming into this game versus Rangers and playing. Their one and only clean sheet, by the way, was their most recent game, and for me it was their best game overall of the season so far, with a 2-0 comfortable win over Kelty Hearts. Now that was at the Tony Macaroni, which is no surprise, because again, new year, same Livy. They're a different team at home than they are away, and they're coming in to host this game versus Rangers on their best performance again versus Kelty Hearts. However, you've seen some of the performances and the way their defence was split home and how poor they looked for set pieces, etc. There is some things to really look at and say, right, we can go after and attack that. Now, in case you missed my last upload, which is of course the league prediction video, where we kind of briefly discussed which each team have done in the transfer window, etc. I'll just recap it very, very quickly in terms of tomorrow's opposition, because they have lost a couple key pieces from their starting 11 and team that really helped them over the last couple of years, again especially under Martindale, was Alan Forrest, Craig Sybil, and Mr. Marvin Bartley himself has now went ahead and left the club. Now the first 2 obviously left to go to other teams, but Bartley has of course retired, which again, he didn't play too much last season, but whenever he did play you knew exactly what he was able to bring in. Now I know he's still going to be helping the team out and everything like that off the park, but again he is a big loss to that in terms of defensive strength, and that's where Livingston looks to me so far this season. They didn't look the fearsome defenders that they were previously. Now again, hopefully I didn't jinx anything in saying that, but it is what's been shown to me so far on the old table. But where they've lost a couple of players, they have brought in some players in typical Livy fashion. No one jumps out and says, oh, look at that guy, or look at that guy, but that's what they do. They bring in these players that are good at one thing, and Martindale has them do that one thing while bringing in another player to do one other thing, and they build a team around that. But it is worth mentioning the big centre forward that they brought in so far this season has already received a red card. So aye, he puts himself about, ladies and gentlemen, so look out for him as the season goes on versus Livingston, because that will be a battle right frickin' there. And that's pretty much it for the old changes to the squad. Again, a couple key players left, couple of players that we don't know too much about brought in, but I'm sure it's going to work because that's what Livingston have showed that they're able to do. So I'm not expecting drastic changes. If anyone's clicking, is Martindale maybe changing the style? Are they going for a tweak? No. They're no people. They've not got the pressure that maybe other clubs, like even in Aberdeen at that point when they were doing that under McInnes and getting fourth every year, people weren't happy about the putrid play style, so they forced a change in it. That's never going to happen at Livingston. They know who they are. They embrace who they are, and we know there will be a back-to-the-wall defensive side who will make it very, very difficult and look for long balls into the channel to run the two centre-halves and again attackers from set pieces. That's exactly what I'm expecting to see tomorrow, and that's how I'm expecting them to line up in that as well. No change in formation, despite them changing formation 3 times against Rangers. They sort of evolve under Martindale. They started with the 4-3-3 and then they changed to a 3-5-2, I believe it was, and then on one of the games they played a 4-5-1 with Jason Holt just behind the striker. I'm expecting them to line up on paper with the 4-3-3 as that's what they've showed so far this season, but again, almost from the first whistle, that 4-3-3 is going to drop right into a 4-5-1. I'm expecting Pittman to be that guy just running about putting the legs in there. I'm expecting Anderson to lead the line. Again, have the two centre-backs especially attack Suter if he's playing, and I expect Shinnie to be the one from the middle of the park to get close to the striker for any knockdowns, and that's how I see them playing, keeping it compact, trying to take the wing play out of us and force us to play narrow, which again, they've flooded the bodies. And that's truthfully all I've got to say about Livingston so far this season. Again, there's not too much to actually break down as it's the first game of the season. They've had a couple competitive games, but nothing to really dive or put our teeth into, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just going to move on from the Livingston side of things because we know what they're going to bring us. They know Martindale's going to have a plan, and it's going to be on Giovanni and this Rangers team to rip up that plan and come away with the 3 points, in which, in my opinion, is still one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult away fixture there is in the league. So it's a test, but it's a test that this Rangers team needs to be able to pass. So let's transition away from the oppositional preview and to the Rangers side then, shall we? And this is good to actually see. It makes me happy being able to talk about Rangers, and there is a couple of things that we're going to talk about in this part of the video, from the new players who I expect to see, etc., to some injury updates, of course, regarding the team news, and we're going to go with all that. And I think we'll start with maybe the newer players in that as well, because there's going to be a lot of questions about who do you think is going to start, blah blah blah. I think Čolak is definitely one that's going to be in there, and Čolak's actually going to be my key man for Rangers, believe it or not. I know the jury's still out and people still didn't rate the laddie. I've seen your comments, I've seen your tweets. I know not many actually rate the laddie, but I actually do. And I think how this Livingston team's been playing and how they've been conceding goals, and I think how we're going to play this season, it is going to be forcing the ball out wide. It is going to be putting the ball into the mixer. It is going to have the ball bouncing all up and doing the shop. And we now finally have a centre forward who is not only good in the air, but lives and breathes off these scraps. I mean, look at the goal we scored versus Spurs. It's a ball that Tavernier's tried to score with a back heel, but he's more alert than 50, 60 million pound centre halves. He's alert to every scrap in the box, and this game to me, no matter what season or who's playing or whatever, whoever the manager is, these games are always scrappy, and I genuinely think the big man's hunger in those situations could be the difference maker, and I expect him, or back him, sorry, to get amongst the goals, I should say. So Čolak is going to be my key man for Rangers in this game. He's up against two very physical centre-backs. He's going to have to play with a lot. He's back to goal, but regarding the scraps, I see him grabbing a cheeky one, or at least that would be very, very nice. He's definitely one I'm expecting to see in the starting 11. Moving on to John Suter, who I do think will actually start this game, but again, I'm not 100% sure. And Suter's in this weird situation right now where people are really no liking him because Son and Kane turned him a couple times and ran him a couple times, but they're no bad at the old Fitbon. I know it looks like he was towing a caravan and that, but he won't be playing against the Sons and the Kanes of the world every single week. But he will be facing Anderson, who I think will be leading the line for Livingston up top. And again, Livingston's strategy in this game will be to get the ball and kick it wide to try and fill the space that's left over with our fullbacks Barisic and of course Tavernier piling forward. And it's that battle, that for me is Suter's test. That's when we can judge if Suter's going to be a player for us, is when Bruce Anderson is running him doing the channel. If he can't handle that, if he's getting pulled out for the side and he's looking away at the shop, then we can have the discussion about John Souttar. But for me, I think he will pass this test. I think it's a much more fairer test on John Souttar, and I look forward to seeing him. Hopefully he's very physical, hopefully he's quick amongst his feet, and hopefully keeps Anderson very, very quiet for every single long ball that goes down the left-hand side of Rangers. Lawrence is the one, in my opinion, that we need to start, and I hope we start. Now, you might have noticed so far, Čolak will start. I think Souttar will start. Now we're at the hope stage and we're sort of building our way doing it. I hope we put Lawrence in there because that's what I think we need today with a Tom Lawrence. Just put him in there and let him be that maverick, that guy that can create something, because again, we've lost a Rebo who could, on his day, just create something out of nothing. And I think this is the type of game, these are the type of challenges that you really get tested as a Rangers player. It's not when you're at home and you're winning 3-4-0 and everything like that. It's this game right here, tough away venue against guys it's just piling in the box. There's going to be very little space, but Lawrence has made a career of making something out of nothing, and this could be a perfect test, and I hope we see the man amongst the starting 11. But someone I don't think we're going to see is the next guy, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Big Rabbi, or Wee Rabbi, as we call him right here on the channel. In fact, I don't know why I'm saying I don't think we'll see him. It's already been officially confirmed from Giovanni himself that Rabbi will miss this upcoming game. Now, didn't he hit the panic button or worry just yet? The reason he's actually missing this game is he has a slight wee issue that's actually resolved itself now, but with this game now literally 24 hours, less than 24 hours away, it's far, far too soon. Plus, I'll be honest with you, I think if this game was at Ibrox or something like that, he could have probably made it onto the bench. But with this being a plastic surface, I'm just coming back from a little niggle, I think it makes a lot of sense not to rush the laddie and throw him right in to the deep end. So Rabbi will not be involved, which does open the door for like a Lawrence to play right wing or that as well. Or, of course, Scotty, right? And the same sort of goes for Tillman as well. This is a guy who spent the majority of his career at Bayern Munich. He's probably never seen a plastic park. He'll not know what a plastic park is. He's used to top quality training and playing on some of the best surfaces in the world. To come at the carpet that is the Tony Macaroni, that will be a bit of an eye-opener for the laddie. But again, if he's no starting, didn't panic, didn't worry or anything like that. I'm sure he will have his say as the season goes on. And the one person that we can officially rule out is going to be Yilmaz, who I don't think in any stretch of the imagination will be starting it. But before we do finish up with some injury team news and everything like that, I do want to ask anyone who's watching this right now, before we get the official word and we discuss it and everything like that, and we see it of course tomorrow, but who Rangers' number one is in between the sticks, I want to ask you, who do you want it to be? And it'd be great if you could take just a second out of your day just to put in either McGregor or McLaughlin down in the comment section, because I'd just love to know where everyone sits. Because on Twitter, sort of an echo chamber where you see almost what you want to see type stuff. This is a channel where we say this. It's very, very open. It's not always same. Trust me, you shout at me a lot. I'm never right about anything, but I'd love to know where you sit. McLaughlin or McGregor, who do you want in the sticks tomorrow starting as your number one for the season? That would be absolutely fantastic, because again, as soon as we see that name tomorrow, we'll know who's won the number one job. And the last thing we need to do is update you on some injury team news. Now, it is the first game of the season, but of course it's not a fresh injury list where there's no one there and we're all raring to go. Unfortunately, we've still got a couple of players lingering from last season. Now, Rabbi did have a wee thing wrong in that as well, but again, he should be alright. But the players who were injured last season, who are coming into this season injured, is of course Hadji, who's still a little bit away. You've got Hollander, who's again unfortunately still a little bit away, and you've got Morelos, who's closer than the other two, but still a little bit away. And that's definitely a blow not to have an Alfredo Morelos. But again, this is Čolak's opportunity to make it up to the Rangers fans that didn't rate the laddie, and scores one and wins us the game tomorrow. That'll be a big step in the right direction. Matt Roof obviously still struggling a little bit with his calf and that as well, so it is well and truly Čolak with maybe a Tillman as the backup striker coming in to this game. So despite all that in the injury list, because I mean, if you told me last season that Hadji, Hollander, Morelos and Roof was it, I didn't know what I would do, ladies and gentlemen. I'd be sitting here trying to find signs to go back in time to warn them about whatever challenge or whatever happened to them. But going into this season is probably a credit to our recruitment that it isn't the end of the world that we're we are. So aye, there's absolutely no excuses for me. We've knew these guys have been injured all summer. We've built our team. Now it's time to go out there and play. And aye, the last thing we need to do in today's video is try to predict the season opener. So if you're still watching today's video, what do you think the scoreline is actually going to be? I'm actually going to try and keep a track of it this year, me versus they, and see if anybody gets it right. So aye, dive into the comment section. Well, let's hear some predictions. Now, everything in my body is screaming a tightly contested 1-0 scrappy winner from Big Cholak. But I'm going to go with Rangers 2, Livingston 0, Cholak and Tavernier as the goal scorers. And aye, that's it. That's the first preview of the season done and dusted. It is time now to just sit back, relax and wait for the season opener and be terrified for 90 minutes at the Tony Macaroni. But it's what we love, ladies and gentlemen. So until tomorrow after the game for the first reaction of the season, I've been CJ92. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.